Hello friends, welcome to Adesh Academy. Friends, today we are going to discuss an essay asked in 2021 UPSC paper, and the title of the essay was Philosophy of Wantlessness is Utopian, while Materialism is a Chimera. So this is really a very complex topic. I mean, if you look at it, it's not even easy to understand the very meaning of the topic. And unless you understand the meaning of a topic, how you can write the essay. Now, let's start this essay by first brainstorming the topic. Now, in this topic, we see that the typical terms here are like this. First is philosophy of wantlessness. What is this? Then utopian, then materialism, and then the Chimera. Now, these are the terms whose meaning we should understand, and then we should be able to understand the meaning of the topic itself. So, let's start writing this essay, and first of all, in the brainstorming, we can ask the questions relating to this particular topic itself. So, what are the questions? The first question is, what is the philosophy of wantlessness? Is it really possible to be wantless? Or how we can say that wantlessness is utopian? So we have to explain the philosophy of wantlessness, and then we have to explain as to how wantlessness is a very high ideal which is very difficult to achieve. Then we can talk about what is the philosophy of materialism. We can discuss about that. Then what is the meaning of chimera? That's also a very interesting term which we have to explain. Then how we can say that materialism is a chimera itself. And then we have to talk about how we can reduce wants and materialistic pursuit to live a good life, and that basically is the intention of this particular essay. So these are the topics, these are the questions which we must cover in our essay. Now, first of all, we must know two important terms, that is utopia and chimera. Friends, utopia is something which is a very high ideal, which is very difficult to achieve. For example, you can say equality, justice. Now, these are the things which are good, great ideals, but it's very difficult to achieve. Now, when we talk about chimera, now this basically term is coming from a Greek mythology story where chimera is a female monster that breathes fire, has lion's head, goat's body, and a snake's tail. So as we can easily see that chimera may exist only in the imagination, but actually it is not possible in reality, because such type of animal actually does not exist in the real world. And therefore chimera is something which we can imagine and which is possible in your imagination, but actually not possible in reality. Now, once you have understood the term, that is chimera and the utopian, let's now start the essay. Now, in the introduction of the essay, we can briefly talk about the philosophy of wantlessness. What is the philosophy of wantlessness? Wantlessness basically means that wants are the source of all our pain. It goes like this, that first the wants emerge in the mind of people, and then when the wants are not satisfied, they become a source of pain for us. Now imagine that you have created the wants, but you have not been able to fulfill that want, and then it becomes a pain. And even if suppose we are able to satisfy our want, still what happens? That new want arises, and when the new want arises, again we want to satisfy, and if that is not satisfied, again we get pain. And therefore, the cycle of pain never stops, because we can never stop the wants from coming. So it means that if you want to be really happy, you must have no want, because if you have no want, then there is no pain also. But that is not possible, because wants are something which is coming within, and that is something which is very, very natural. And so it appears that it's very difficult to stop your wants. And Oscar Wilde very beautifully said that there are only two tragedies in life. One is not getting what one wants, and other is getting it. That means once you have fulfilled your want, then you are unhappy because immediately the next want comes. And if the want is not fulfilled, again you are not happy. And that way everybody is basically unhappy. Now we can also talk about what is materialism and how basically materialism is illusionary, because you want more and more money, and so more money you get, more comfort you get, and still you are not happy, so you want more money. And so that is how people keep on getting more money, but still the happiness eludes them. And that's why this materialism, or the material word, is sometimes called Maya in Indian philosophy. Now let's start the body of the essay. Now in the body of the essay, we can talk about the difference between the need and greed. And we can refer the quotation of Mahatma Gandhi: "Earth provides enough to satisfy every man's need, but not every man's greed." Because needs are something which are impossible to satisfy. Needs are limited. Now you can't have too much of food. You can't have too much of water. You need only one room to live. So needs can be satisfied, but greed, there is no end. You won't be satisfied even if you have $1 billion. So that is why we must go for simple living and high thinking. And then we can talk about the benefits of reducing our wants, because most of our time goes in satisfying that wants. If we don't have many wants, then we have more time for friends, family, and also for self-development, and that can give us more happiness. And then we can talk about the different methods of reducing wants, for example, meditation, or developing a hobby, or developing a taste for arts, literature, and acquire knowledge. So if you focus your attention toward other things than the matter, then you can have reduce your wants. So instead of killing your wants, you must try to reduce your wants, because lesser wants means more time, and more time basically means more happiness. We can also talk about materialism. In the materialism, we can talk about the importance of money and material success, because if you want to satisfy your basic needs also, you require money, you require material things, and therefore money is required. It's like a bread. Without money, it's very difficult to survive. But at the same time, you must not go for greed. So satisfy your needs, but not strive for greeds. We can also talk about why people are becoming more materialistic, because you see, in this present world, there is a focus on consumerism. That means the more goods you have, the more happiness you can enjoy. That's the illusion which is created. And that's how the desires are created, particularly by the companies, by the advertisements, which try to create new desires, and then you just go for it, try to purchase the things, spend more time, and make your life more miserable. Then we can talk about the competition, because material things are limited, and so there is always a competition, and only few people succeed and most of the people don't succeed. Then we can talk about the greed, corporatization, instant gratification, because material is something which can immediately buy the products of your pleasure, and that provides you instant gratification. And that is the reason that people want to have more money, because they can go to the market, buy the things that can provide them instant joy. While if you want to do good things, they will provide you joy only after some time. Then we can talk about why the material things fail to give us happiness, love, and peace. Because the more material things we have, the more desires we generate. And so we can quote here a very beautiful quote of Socrates, that he who is not satisfied or contented with what he has would not be contented with what he would like to have. That means if you are not contented today with whatever you have got, even if tomorrow you get more, you are not going to be satisfied. And therefore the most important thing is that we must learn to be satisfied and not chase the material things in our life. And then we can also mention the quote of Eric Fromm, that greed is a bottomless pit which exhausts the person in the endless effort to satisfy the need without ever reaching satisfaction. So this is basically a very beautiful quotation to explain that if we go for greed, then we keep on falling down, and then we will never be satisfied, but we will be totally exhausted, and this is a never-ending goal, and this will never give you satisfaction. So friends, this is how we can explain the materialism, and also we can talk about the wantlessness. Then finally we'll come to the conclusion, and in the conclusion we'll say that we should not aim for wantlessness, rather we should aim for less wants. So don't think that it is possible that you can have totally a wantlessness, you will not have any desires, but it is better to have less wants, because less want means they are easy to satisfy, and you will have more time for enjoying life. So reduce your wants to the minimum. At the same time, you should avoid materialism. That means don't think that matter is going to give you happiness. Yes, acquire sufficient money, acquire sufficient name, fame, power, but don't think that that is going to give you happiness. So don't go for too much of materialism, rather spend more time with your family and friends, help and serve people, and follow the philosophy of golden means of Aristotle and the middle path of Buddha. That means instead of shunning materialism or instead of shunning wantlessness, we must try to find a middle path, manage our wants and manage our materialistic desire, and that way we can lead the best life. So friends, in this way we can write a great essay on this particular topic, which is very interesting and very philosophical in nature. Thank you very much.